Good morning, everybody, and welcome from the Louvre in Paris, France. I'm Bianca Valerio, and welcome to my YouTube channel. You know, it's very rare that you will actually see barely any people at the Louvre. We are here at the height of summer. It is August, but you know what? What's happening is I'm going to take you guys inside the Louvre of what it's like to go on a private tour. In order to tour the whole Louvre, it's probably going to take you months in order to truly savor every single gallery there is. But the question is, do you have time, or do you even want to go through all of it? And that's exactly the tour we're going to do. If you want a refresher or simply want to go to key rooms exactly like the Mona Lisa, that is what we're going to do right now. So in just a bit, we're going to be going inside. Come away with me. There's barely anyone here right now, and it's nice. The weather is really chilly. Love it. And it is a race to get to the Mona Lisa. You can see people are like walking really fast. Okay, here we go. Whew. The fine print on the tour is that you need to be very physically fit to run. So we're here and walking. And there she is. Da-da-da. Hi everybody, so we're here now at the Louvre. This is Mona Lisa right behind me. I'm literally getting prime real estate because there's like not really much people yet, but in just a few moments there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be crowding around the Mona Lisa. So here's a little fun fact for you. Nobody really cared about the Mona Lisa. It was only until 1911 when the Mona Lisa, this artwork by Da Vinci, was actually stolen. It was stolen by an Italian. Now, it was so insignificant, this painting, or at least Da Vinci's work was so insignificant that it actually took them 3 days to realize that she was gone. That's right, so the Italian painting napper had actually taken the painting and hid it under his bed for 3 years. Isn't that crazy? And because, you know, he was, I guess, a bit of a novice type of, do I say stealer or whatnot? What happened was he tried selling it to a museum, and that's actually how he got caught. And because of all the publicity that the Louvre was actually getting for that, oh, you know, something was stolen, one of our paintings was stolen. So it was the fascination behind like why this painting was stolen. Hence the Mona Lisa, the fascination for the Mona Lisa was born. You see right now, people are coming in. Yeah. Yay! This is my beautiful, beautiful tour guide, Ming. So right behind me, which is actually right across the Mona Lisa, is the largest painting in the Louvre. She's actually, it's actually 67 square meters. It's actually like the size of somebody's apartment. And it is by Veronese, an Italian artist. So, going back to Leonardo da Vinci, this is one of his also most important works, together with the Mona Lisa. Now, would you ever believe me if I told you that this is actually supposed to depict the nativity scene? And for those of you who are Christians or Catholics, the nativity scene, well, it kind of doesn't look like that, right? We're talking about like Jesus with Mary in a manger with angels, or the three kings and all that. Well, if you take a look at this, he was actually commissioned by the church to make a representation of the nativity scene. And because Da Vinci, I wouldn't say quite the rebel, but every artist has their own point of view, wanted to make sure that he had his, I guess, own stamp to it. And he wanted to represent Mary as a very normal person. At that time, they always wanted to represent holy people with halos. So if you notice that she actually doesn't have one. And then these angels right here all around, they actually don't have wings. So for Leonardo da Vinci, he wanted to depict Mary as a very normal person, almost relatable, almost to say like she's one of us, even if she's holy. Now, which is a contrast to the one of Mona Lisa, where he depicted a normal person like a saint. So all around the Louvre, you're going to see so many beautiful artworks, so many galleries. There's actually a total of 490,000 artworks scattered all over the galleries inside the Louvre. Every tour guide will tell you differently. Some will say that it will take you a month or so in order to finish to seeing to every artwork. However, if you are good at math and you are good at calculating, if you actually spend about 10 seconds per artwork, you will actually get to finish the Louvre in exactly 96 hours. Now this artwork over here is also by Da Vinci. You've probably seen this one. Nobody actually knows who she is. She is just a depiction of probably a lady in court. By what she's wearing, you can tell she's probably aristocratic, of nobility. But yeah, it is a portrait of a lovely lady. So this painting over here is actually the very last painting of Leonardo da Vinci. So I'm actually learning right now. Honestly, Da Vinci is actually one of my heroes. You know, he's a painter, he's an architect, he's an inventor, he's so many, many, many things. But people actually at that time didn't even like Da Vinci because the Catholic Church, they didn't like him. Because if you saw those prior paintings, whenever they would actually commission him to do any artwork that had to do with Catholic images of the Blessed Virgin Mary, of Jesus Christ, he would always do what he wanted. It was always true artist, like a rock star, not following direction or not painting to the beat of his own brush, right? And so, yeah, he just wasn't accepted. So it was really only until, like I said, that when the Mona Lisa was stolen in 1911, we actually have that Italian stealer. Why do I keep saying stealer? We actually have that very random Italian thief, there you go, to thank, because if it wasn't for him, the Louvre wouldn't have like made all this commotion and sent out the news that, hey, this painting was stolen and we are going to give a reward to anybody who has information on this. And that's why it became viral, or at least at that time it became viral, it became news. And then now the fascination with Mona Lisa would obviously lead to who is the artist. Hence, looking into the background, into the values of Da Vinci, and to the Da Vinci that we know today. All right, so now you're thinking, then if people weren't fascinated with Da Vinci, then who were they fascinated by during their heyday? This baby over here, Raphael. Why do I keep thinking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Okay, so here's a little fun fact. Leonardo da Vinci had a total of 15 artworks in his lifetime. Raphael, on the other hand, 3,700. Crazy. That is like some serious skill, not just skill, but speed. I mean, take a look at this. It's no modern abstract, just pour like paint on your canvas, but it is a pure, like, just beauty. So him together with Michelangelo were the true rock stars. And now we're moving on to our next artwork. So this artwork over here at the top, so let me just show you. So let's start with St. Louis. So SL, that's St. Louis, he's the medieval king. Over there is FF for King Francis I. King Francis I is the one who brought Italian Renaissance to France. And then this is for Louis XIV, the Sun King. And then letter N right is for Napoleon Bonaparte. So Napoleon Bonaparte actually had this made, had this commissioned. You see this lady over here? So this lady is supposedly writing down all the things that Napoleon had achieved and accomplished. And Napoleon really wanted to give this impression of how important he was, that he was just like a king. But of course, people knew that is so not true. They just saw him as just a really important general. So I was just saying, right, that although Napoleon, we have Napoleon to thank because, you know, through all the different wars, he was able to loot, I guess, stole a lot of artworks and bring them over to France to add to the collection of the Louvre, which really started, I wouldn't say which started, but, you know, all the kings, particularly like King Louis XIV, really loved art, and so he had this collection, and initially it was actually stored here, and hence the Louvre in 1793 was actually opened as a museum, and to think it was actually originally his residence for 3 years. And since he stored his art here, it turned into the Louvre. Anyway, that's a short version of it. But what's really fascinating about this painting, if you can see that Napoleon is actually coronating, or do I say that, or like doing a coronation ceremony to his wife. Technically, there's the Pope behind him. It should be the Pope doing that, and it's not him. That's why it's a little bit controversial, right? But what's most fascinating for me is, if you can count how many people there are in this painting right now, there's a total of 160 people. What if I told you, take a look, there's so many people now who are being fascinated by this painting. What if I told you that the artist of this painting, kind of like medieval Photoshop, he went to every single person's house, took a portrait of them in their fine clothes and whatnot, and then back in his studio of sorts, he then painted them into a very big canvas based on those portraits to put them all together like this. Isn't that extraordinary? So it actually took 3 years to complete in order to make this masterpiece. I mean, if you take a look at it, like if you take a portrait of somebody, it's not like he knew what angle they were going to be in, but the precision at which you can see like the shadowing, where it, like, I don't even know the terms, the perspective, that how he painted it. That's why it took 3 years to complete. Amazing. Okay, so as you can see, this is a private tour. We're going at a faster length. Well, not as fast as 10 seconds. However, this tour, it runs for about an hour from 9 to 10 a.m. So there are 4 main artworks in the Louvre that are, I mean, there's so many, 490,000, although there are 4 that they consider the most important. One, of course, is the Mona Lisa. Second is the, what was it? Oh, the Venus de Milo, which we're going to see in just a bit. This is the 3rd right over there. And the 4th one was the coronation that we saw of Napoleon. So this sculpture over here is actually quite enchanting, because the artist, when you think about it, when you paint a picture and sculpting, painting and sculpting are 2 different mediums and very hard to say the least, right? But in this case, if you take a look, she's actually standing on a boat, right? Just think of the Titanic, right? Where Kate Winslet was right at the front of the ship, and she's like floating her arms like this, and she's singing to Celine Dion's song. Well, in this case, just think of wind and water hitting a body. And the artist was so amazingly, intrinsically, was able to depict water and wind through the sculpture. If you take a look at her dress, where the skirt is like kind of flowing through her legs, and then you can tell, I mean, pardon the term, but it's like a wet t-shirt contest, but you can see that her top, she has a top, but yet you can see her belly button. So it depicts that her top or her dress is actually wet, and that's why this makes this sculpture really quite incredible. So here we go, last but not the least, this beauty over here is Venus by Milo. So before the fascination with the Mona Lisa, this lady over here was the showstopper. She was the main show. This is why people came to the Louvre. She was actually discovered by a farmer in a province in Greece called Milo. That's why Venus and Milo. And it was brought back by the French army. Told you, like Napoleon looted a lot of like artwork, sculptures, and all that, and brought it to France. And she was one of them, and she became like the main show. Anyway, if you take a look at her closely, it's do you see her pose where she's kind of like this? The reason why they were so fascinated by this sculpture is there. You can see it right now. She's kind of leaning with one leg folded or bent, and the back leg is straight. It's kind of like how any girl would pose right now, or let's say for photos, right? Because it shows the symmetry of the body, the perfect curves. So they were saying that the Greeks were just so intelligent, so forward thinking, that they are already able to foresee that this pose over here would be the most like svelte, charming, just enchanting, just the best way to show the female form. And then now, you can't even really tell if it's a woman or a man. And the Greeks purposely really did that too, because they wanted, like Venus, who is a goddess, they wanted their gods and goddesses to look more androgynous, not really a man, not really a female. So it can kind of be a switch of both. And then it's basically showing that all the different details of here, of the statue, where Michelangelo supposedly gave the impression that all statues were white, because he was actually commissioned by the church to restore a lot of the sculptures. But no, there's actually proof that there's actually some red paint on her skirt. And then she actually had earrings because one of her earlobes is actually torn. So it's actually really interesting to know that even Michelangelo, Da Vinci, everybody has to put their stamp on something, right? That's why they are called artists. So that is Venus by Milo. So our tour is about almost done. I'm going to take you guys back upstairs. I'm actually directly underneath this pyramid. Now this pyramid was actually completed in 1989, which is nothing like the architecture that you see outside. So outside originally that was a military fortress. That's what the Louvre really was. And then anyway, when it became a museum in 1793, in 1988, okay, 1793, and time passed, and so many tourists, and then so many artworks. They were just building and building and building, right? So they had to try and accommodate the need, right? But at the same time, because the entrance of the Louvre was somewhere in the back, I'm going to show you guys later. It was also pretty dangerous and precarious with the influx of people coming in. So they had to find a way for tourists to actually, like, there's a cafe, there's a restaurant, and a tourist shop, and all these other places. And hence this pyramid, or this area right here below it, was born. So it was actually designed by a Chinese American architect. And it was really controversial at that time because, hello, it looks nothing like what it looks like around it. But the artist was actually a fan so much of Egyptian pyramids, of Egyptian architecture. In fact, there's 3 pyramids that you're going to see, and they are actually representing the 3 entrances of the Louvre. All right, so when you exit the Louvre, you're actually going to be led to so many shops and restaurants. So the tour may have ended, but the adventure doesn't stop. For shopping, for souvenirs, and so many more. Right underground. It can lead you to the metro. There's so many signs to lead you to where you want to go. Ooh la la. All right, so when there's trivia inside, there's also trivia outside as well. So the Louvre, originally, this was built as a military fortress, right? And it was only really later on that it was turned into a museum. But before that, King Louis XIV this guy over here actually lived here for 3 years, and he actually had a large art collection which he stored right here, and then eventually as time passed by it turned into a museum, and those artworks had just grown and grown and multiplied, especially with the help of Napoleon Bonaparte, unfortunately, who looted from a lot from places that we went to, which you're actually going to see, or which you actually just saw. And what a difference 2 hours make. You know, I was here at 8 a.m. There was nobody here, and now in just 2 hours it is flooded with tourists, Instagrammers, families, dogs, everyone who can basically try and get to experience and see and go inside the Louvre. Unfortunately, the reason why there is such a long line, even that goes all around the pyramid, is because it is already sold out. So for those of you who actually want to visit the Louvre, you need to book way ahead in advance, or if you want to do a private tour just like we did, definitely giving you easier access to see the best spots inside the Louvre, this is an option for you. And that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Private tour here at the Louvre in Paris, very private. The 4 best artworks that you're going to find in the Louvre as I offer them from my heart to yours. I'm Bianca Valerio. Until our next private tour or whatnot or meal, come away with me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye guys.